And that brings us to chapter 22, which is the Rules of Eldrin. Volke is making his way back to the inn. He's shadow stepping because he can, and it's dark outside, and he shadow steps up to the roof of the inn and overhears Zaxis practicing. Not sparring, not his skills, but he's practicing talking to Illia. And Volke ends up unable to contain himself. He laughs, he gives himself away. He has a discussion with Zaxis and ends up asking for his advice, and Volke tells him to really just be honest with her and compliment her on something that he actually enjoys. Perfect timing, Illia does show up, and Zaxis asks to speak to her alone. They make their way off, so we'll see later on what comes from that discussion. Volke, again, continuing his learning, he goes to Thiesen's book to learn about the Eldrin that he's already sort of familiar with. So phoenixes, he learns that there's actually a blue phoenix, which is almost a separate species. It's still a phoenix, but it has especially strong fire that's supposed to be able to burn creatures that are immune to fire. And it doesn't actually heal the way other phoenixes do. So it's sort of the same skill set, still a phoenix, but slightly tweaked onto the offensive side.
Like, that's so cool that the blue phoenixes can actually burn other creatures that are immune to fire. Like, oh, you're a dragon and have fire? Cool story, bro. I'm a blue phoenix arcanist. I can burn you.
It is a little cheat code.
Right? Imagine Zaxis going against a blue phoenix arcanist and actually not being able to withstand the heat.
And he wouldn't know ahead of time either. So he'd walk into it and just be getting lit up, literally.
And then true form phoenixes, it's brought up that they can potentially bring back recently deceased. And one thing I've always wondered, what is defined as recently? Like, is it a couple of days ago? Is it a couple of weeks ago? Are we talking recent in, retrospective of Arcanus, where like a couple of years is recent still?
It's a good question. I think, especially with the true form, there's a lot of questions around what falls into each category.
This is one of those just burning questions that I don't think we're ever I don't really want an answer to, but it's that, like, just how far does it go?
That little piece of lore that you're looking for.
Exactly. Now, Volke is reading along, and he does find the entry for Knightmares, and he does confirm that they are tier 3. And Luther is like, yeah, I wasn't worried about that whatsoever. I knew that already.
He knew he was powerful. Zaxis, at this point, ends up coming back into the room, and Volke pretends to be asleep. I don't think he wants to know what's going on with that conversation or deal with Zaxis if it didn't go well. But in the morning, Illia enters into the room and wakes Volke up and wants to go shopping with him. And she wants to go shopping in the Moonlight District.
So I got to admit, the first couple of times that I've read that, finally I read it correctly, because I kept reading that Volke wanted to go to the Moonlight District to go shopping. And I was kind of like, I mean, he knows what this district is about. Luther tells him what this district is about. The first couple of times that I read it, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, Volke, this is not a place that you really should... Not saying he shouldn't be allowed to go to, but this is not in his character to go to this kind of area. And then finally I read it and I was like, oh, Illia wanted to go to this district. That makes more sense. Like, I know Volke wouldn't necessarily say no to going there, but I wouldn't think he would volunteer to go there.
No, that's funny. Like you say, that's very out of character for him, but I would love to see Illia come and be like, let's go shopping. He goes, can we go to the Moonlight District?
Be like, I know that he kind of like accidentally wandered into there when he was released from the jail, with Luther being there like, hey, this is not the most honorable place to be. I think that was enough of Volke, like, I think I should probably steer away from this. But he was, it piqued his interest. He's like, but I do kind of want to go there.
Maybe just for a little bit, we'll just check it out.
Just take a peek, nothing too long. Just take a look.
You know what? I'll bring a few coins with me. If something spots me.
There are tailors and stuff there, right?
Yes, there's.
Just want to remind everybody that we post our new episodes every Wednesday morning around 11 Eastern, 10 o'clock Central, and for those that are out in Pacific, 8 o'clock Pacific Standard. We're on all podcasting platforms, and if you haven't already switched over to YouTube Music, then you definitely need to get that done, because Google Podcasts is going to no longer be a thing. We are on YouTube. as well for video. And we want to thank our editor, Dan Mackison, for including pictures and links to everything. If you do want to reach out to us on Gmail, we're at frithguildpod@gmail.com. We're on Facebook and other social medias at Frith Guild Podcast. Again, we want to thank the Frith Chronicles Wiki, as that is a great resource. And again, everything is linked down below for the podcast and in YouTube. And I want to remind everybody that we don't have a solid date quite yet for the Urban Fantasy, the time marked Warlock yet for Chamois Stovall. But again, once we get updates, we will certainly include that as well. Scott, was there anything else you'd like to add tonight?
No, I think that closes it.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.